guys. I'm very honored to be here, present Clayton in SmartCon 2022. Okay? Yeah, okay. So in this session, I want to talk about Clayton, the Metaverse blockchain for all. So it's not many people here, but I just want to know how many guys heard about Clayton before. Please raise your hand. Wow, there's many than I thought. Okay, it's very nice. So let's introduce myself first. My name is Junghyun Kim, in South Korean name, but you can call me Colin. My nickname is Colin. So I joined GroundX in 2018, and at that time, I developed many protocols like Klaytn blockchain core protocol, API service, and I also developed some applications like clip drops and crafter space. And this year, I moved to Cross Universe, and I currently developing Klaytn core blockchain protocol since then. So GroundX and Cross Universe, they are also subsidiary of Kakao. You may have heard of Kakao before or not, but Kakao is kind of one of the big IT companies in South Korea. So as you can see here, that Kakao, actually original Kakao name, comes from CACAO, right? But it's our company name is KAKAO. C changed to K. So please remember this thing. I will introduce a little bit more about that later. Okay, this is my agenda. First, I want to talk about what Klaytn is, and then I will talk about a little bit more about what the virtual world means. And then I will talk about Metaverse and why you need to build on Klaytn, and then I summarize my presentation. Okay, yeah, Klaytn. So this is a Klaytn world. I want to make some kind of Klaytn story so that you guys all well know about Klaytn. So on the left-hand side, we have many terminologies we developed, and the base layer, we have Magma. Magma is something like that, all things are melted together, right? So on the right-hand side, you can see Klaytn's logo. The color is like a mix of orange and red, right? Comes from Magma. And on top of Magma, we have Cross. As I told you before, C changed to K, right? So Cross is a thin layer, just covers Magma. And on top of Cross, we have GroundX, which is another company name. And Ground, we have clay and stones. That's where it comes from the Klaytn. Klaytn comes from K plus clay plus stone. And on top of Klaytn, we have a cypress, which is our mainnet name, and it's also the name of a tree. Got it? And then we have two ecosystem tools called KaiCast and Caver. KaiCast is a wallet name of Klaytn, and the name comes from God of Wind in Greek myth. And the Caver is our SDK name, and it comes from Gentle Breeze in Hebrides. Isn't it funny, right? And on the right-hand side, you can see there are some characters for Klaytn. And with these characters, we want to make some kind of real use cases. I will talk about that later, okay? Yeah, great. And then I want to talk about what the virtual world means. We are already in the virtual world in two perspectives. First one is we can imagination from nothing. Even if you don't have an apple, you can think about what apple is, how it looks like, and how it tastes, right? So this means you can imagination from nothing. So since we invented symbols, we have already in the virtual world, right? And second thing is selective attention. Please raise your hand if you watched this movie before. Oh yeah, great. More than I thought. As you can see in this video, the instructor asked you that count how many balls are passed in this video. But during this video, actually, as you can see, there's gorilla, right? Gorilla comes in and doing like this and leave it out. But you cannot recognize it because you're just focusing ball passing. That's a very interesting thing. Also, one thing is more changed, like curtain color is changed from another color, but you cannot recognize it because you just focus on the ball passing. Isn't it interesting, right? In two perspectives, actually, we cannot see directly the physical world as it is. You just focus on something, and then the other things are gone. Okay? It's a very interesting thing. So, and then I want to talk about Metaverse, what Metaverse is, right? There are many definitions, but I want to introduce this one, and there are many definitions of Metaverse, but in this definition, we can define 4 categories of Metaverse, and we don't have much time, so I just want to focus on virtual world. There are many virtual worlds called Jam or Gather Town, Roblox, you name it. Minecraft, right? There are many virtual worlds already in these days. So what does it mean? Metaverse blockchain. So some blockchain is somehow related to elements of the metaverse. For example, digital assets. You already know about fungible tokens, non-fungible tokens, because you're already in the Web3 world, right? You already know what the fungible token and non-fungible token is, right? And then actually, digital assets can be currency, items, avatars, clothes, accessories, whatever else. They're all digital assets. How to implement that? You can use blockchain or database, whatever you want, right? You can choose anything. And then also, there are another components when you build a metaverse. As you can see, 2D, 3D for visualization, currency, items, community, and device interfaces. There are many things you need to implement for a metaverse. But in this presentation, I want to just focus on something that could be built on, using blockchain and database. Those things could be currency and items, right? And how you can build those things with a database or blockchain? We can think about two perspectives. First one is development cost. In terms of development cost, I would say that blockchain is better because we have already have many implementations like fungible tokens, non-fungible tokens. We have wallets, and we already know how to transfer, how to exchange those assets, right? So blockchain is easier in terms of development cost. But in terms of performance, as we all know, database is better. So with this table, we cannot choose, right? We need to take this into account. So in that perspective, we can also think about multi-metaverse. Actually, there could be multi-blockchains in the future or later, right? Metaverse also could be multiple, right? So when you implement metaverse, multi-metaverse, you can do it with your database, or you can do it with a blockchain, right? So in this case, when you do it with a database, actually, metaverse systems can be somewhat isolated, right? It's not easy to make some connection between metaverses. But when you do it with a blockchain, then it's very easy to make some interoperability between the metaverse. So take this into account with interoperability, then I would say that blockchain can be a better solution for this multi-metaverse environment. Let's dig a little bit deeper for real use cases, for example, fungible tokens. Anyway, each metaverse has its own economy system, so they need to have their fungible tokens, right? In that case, I think I would say that it's very easy to exchange fungible tokens between metaverses because we have DEX, decentralized exchanges, right? So this is a very easy thing. But what about non-fungible tokens? I would say it's not easy because, for example, it's not easy to visualize. For example, if we have an item on 3D metaverse, when you migrate this item to another metaverse, and which is 2D, then it's very real, right? 3D item in 2D metaverse. That's it, right? So not easy to visualize. Another thing is not easy to guarantee the value. For example, if you have an item, it's worth of $10 in this metaverse. When you migrate this one to another metaverse, can you say that it's the same value? For example, worth of $10 in this metaverse? We cannot say that, right? So in two perspectives, migrating some items in one metaverse to another metaverse, it's not an easy thing to do. So I will say, suggest another use cases, NFTs with avatars. So when we define another type of NFT, and in this NFT, we can define avatars. In this NFT, we can also define some kind of 3D modeling or 2D modeling in this NFT. In the case, if you buy this NFT, then you can jump into the first metaverse, for example, 3D metaverse, then you can play with it with 3D model. When you jump into the 2D metaverse with this NFT, then also this NFT also defines, I would say, 2D motion images. Then you can jump into the 2D metaverse, you can play with it with this avatar. So single NFT define multi-metaverse use cases. So how we can do that? So I don't know. We need to try to, do some experiment. So that's why I want to talk about this. So with these characters, we want to define some real use cases with multi-metaverse environment. So please stay tuned. and let's see how it goes. Yeah, that's it. And why you need to build on Klaytn, right? For the Metaverse blockchain, most important thing I want to talk about is transaction latency and its stability, because they will give you better usability. So we measure transaction latency compared to the other blockchains together. So as you can see, there are other blockchain names, but somewhat anonymized. But Klaytn shows lowest transaction latency compared to others. So this is very good. And not only transaction latency, but we also think about its stability. Because let's say that this time you need to, for example, 2 seconds to execute this transaction. And next time you need to wait 10 seconds. Then the next time, how long do you need to wait? We don't know that, right? So stability is a very important thing. So as you can see on the top chart is from Klaytn. There are many dots, and there are experiment of each transaction latency measurement. And as you can see, Klaytn is a range about most in 1 second through 3 seconds. Most transaction latency comes into this range. And the other blockchains, they're vary a lot. In that case, you cannot expect how long we need to wait, right? So Klaytn shows the most stable latency compared to the others. So this is the one thing I want to emphasize. So transaction latency, low is better, and scalability, high is better, right? So with this perspective, attributes, we can give you better usability to users. So I would say that Klaytn has better usability compared to other blockchains. And also, we are trying to give more open source Metaverse packages to builders, so that like this, we also have our customized L2 solution and SDKs, wallets, and all other things. We will provide all the things as an open source. So the Metaverse builders, if you want your own Metaverse package, then you can bring this and you can customize it whatever you want. Then it could be better for anything for Metaverse building. Okay. Yeah, then let's summarize my presentation. Yeah, I told you we are already in the virtual world. And Metaverse is kind of implementing a virtual world, right? So blockchain is more meaningful for multi-metaverse systems, as I told you before. And in terms of technology, transaction latency and its stability are most important thing. And then Klaytn has lowest transaction latency, and Klaytn shows better stability, okay? And also, we are trying to give more Metaverse open source packages to builders so that builders can utilize those packages together. Okay? So I would say that Klaytn is Metaverse blockchain for all. So if you want to build some Metaverse things, then please take this Klaytn into account and please try Klaytn. And let's build together. Also, there's QR code. When you scan this QR, then you can find more information about Klaytn. Then it's very good to see other, informations or websites together. So I will wait one more seconds and just scan it. Okay. Okay. Thank you for my presentation. If you have other questions, I will right there. Just ask me any things. Okay. Thank you.